Hello and welcome to our playthrough of Star Trek Infinite. And now let's head into our episode. Hello, welcome back to our playthrough of Star Trek Infinite. We're approaching the 100-year mark. I don't know if this game is set to be 100 years long. Stellaris by default is 300 years long, right? Yeah, Stellaris starts in 2200 and ends in 25. Star Trek Infinite starts in 2346, and I believe we are approaching 2446. So, I don't know if it's 100 years or 200 years or what, but we're going to find. We could be hitting mid-game. We could be approaching endgame. I don't know. I've never played through this before. Before we begin the game proper, prepare yourself for a rant. I am enjoying this game. Is this game worth the $30? You have to ask yourself some questions. One, if I want a Star Trek grand strategy game, and all I care about is Star Trek, yes, it's worth the $30. If all I care about is Star Trek, period, and I want just a Star Trek game that I've never really tried to play it before, do they meet the $30 minimum of, hey, this is worth $30, give it a shot? I'm not saying you'll like it, I'm just saying give it a shot. Yes. If I don't own Stellaris or any of the DLC, but I do want to give a grand strategy game a shot, and I prefer it to be set in the Star Trek universe. Is this game worth the $30 in that question? Yes. If I have already plopped down the $40 for Stellaris, and the potentially additional $60 for the DLC I would need to make a Star Trek mod work. Is this game... So I already own $100 worth of Stellaris, and I want to play a Star Trek grand strategy game. Would it be better for me to just download the mod, or buy this game? Do the mod first. If you're like, hey, it's still not sitting right, then try and buy this game. As always, keep in mind, I encourage people to keep in mind your budget. It is only $30, but you don't, if you have to choose between eating food for a day or playing this game, take the eating food for a day. That is more important. The game, theoretically, isn't going anywhere. So you can always wait for it to go on sale. Okay? So, like, it is one of those games where it's like, Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate, the newest tactical game they put out recently. It's probably one of the best Warhammer 40k games out there. But compared to other tactical games, i.e. games like XCOM 2, in similar games, XCOM Chimera Squad, I would say buy those games. They're much better done. But if you specifically want one Warhammer 40k, what else are you gonna buy? I mean, this is the same. If you're like, I want a Star Trek grand strategy game, but I don't want to buy Stellaris and all the DLC I would need to make it work, because that's gonna be close to $100. What else are you gonna play and buy? If you're unsure about, do I like grand strategy games or want to dip your toe in the grand strategy games, you know what? Flip a coin. Stellaris probably offers more in the long term, but if you think you're gonna end up just Star Trek all the way, pick this game up. They're comparable. There are enough mechanical differences. It justifies the $30 price tag. However, it definitely needs patching, and a balance pass, and a mechanics pass, and a mechanics over. So I did the research. This game was announced, as in, this game exists and it will come out in June of 2023. We're like, neat. Everyone, and a lot of people are like, oh, it just looks like a mod. Again, it is more than just a mod. There are enough differences. It does justify its $30 price tag. Unless you already have Stellaris and all the DLC, in which case just get the mod. Unless you really want a Star Trek game. A Star Trek focused game. Right? It then was released in October of 2023. Right? Hold on. I want to double check this. I believe October of 2023. Yes, October of 20, so June was announced, so that 1 month, right? July, August, September, October. 5 months between announcement and launch. Did they only work on this for 5 months? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, did it need more time in the oven? Yes. Okay. Honestly, not because of the bugs and the crashes we've had. They're plowing through those at a great rate. It's being patched regularly. No worse. Better than most Paradox games on launch. I'll give it that. And better than some AAA games that have come out recently on launch. So, they're fine there. But the mechanics. Okay, so I want to show this off. So I went through and I was like, well, wait a minute. Before I criticize the tech tree and that sort of thing, what does the Romulan Star Empire Star? Alright, this Ferrex class. That's cool. That's from the classic. Alright. You know, only one armor, a large and a medium. That's interesting. You know, different from, the Federation starts with the Miranda class. I would say, for balance reasons, keep the one, but give it 2 auxiliaries. Alright? That's fine. But look, phasers. No. No. Romulans don't get phasers. They get disruptors. So if we go into the tech, there we go. We do, I believe, have the choice. We can research a cloaking device. That's great. The Federation doesn't get that. For society, that's neat. Their housing is 10 and 10. Federation housing is 4 and 10. By the way, there needs to be technology to increase housing both for these and for base and for city districts itself. Okay? And then nothing in here we expect. But no. The tech the tech decks, again, it's not a tree. You can't think of it as a tree. It is closer to, here is a deck of cards. When you start, you have 10 Tier 1 technologies you can choose from in every category. So we'll say, and these aren't the exact numbers. 10 in physics, 10 in society, 10 in engineering. If I choose one, we'll say this one, and this one. Okay? When these are researched, it goes, alright, we are pulling that card out of the tech deck. You have 9 left, but we're sticking in 2 tier 2s. Okay? Or a tier 2. We'll say 2 tier 2, right? No, a tier 2, right? So now each one, the next time research, this is the way it should work, by the way. I'm not saying this is the way, It definitely doesn't work this way in this game. And the way it should work is, all right, so now the next time, once it chooses, it should be, all right, now when we shuffle the deck, it will choose between the 9 tier 1s and that random tier 2. Okay? And so on and so forth, until you've researched 5 tier 1s in each. And then maybe it start, now, once you've done that, it's like, all right, so once you've researched 5 tier 1s, the next time we draw from the deck, we have a choice of 4 tier 1s, 5 tier 3s, and maybe now it's 5 tier 2s, and maybe now it has a chance to slide in a tier 2 or a tier 3. So that there is some randomness. There is some skill in having to be able to choose the right tech with. But you're not gonna research a tier 1, a tier 1, a tier 1, a couple of tier 2s, and then all of a sudden all you have is a choice of 3 tier 10 technology. That's what's supposed to not happen. In our Federation playthrough, which you have seen, that happened. We did a number of tier 1s, a couple of tier 2s, and then all of a sudden, I think it was for Society, our choices were 3 tier 10 technologies. Which means it's not going, alright, here's a gradual shuffling and building up. It was, no, here is the full deck of 150 possible cards from tier 1 to tier 10. You could get any of them. No. Bad. Overhaul that shit. Okay? It shouldn't do that, because if you get screwed and all you get are tier 10s to choose from, and you're only making 150 tech, it is literally going to take you so long to research that technology that you will fall so far behind. You will lose. Your chance of winning drops from, 50-50, we'll say, down to 10% or less. Because it has taken you so long to research that tier 10 tech. Because that was your only choice. Even though you should only be dealing with tier 2s and 3s. That every other faction, theoretically, has researched 4 or 5 technologies. Or possibly even more, and the time it took you to research more. And that is a pace that is, you lose. Okay? They need to go in and to overhaul how this, this is fine, I guess, large and medium. This is fine, I guess. I would argue that the Romulans get 2 auxiliary slots and 1 defense slot. A medium defense slot. 125. Yes, a medium. If it's going to be 1, a medium defense slot. 1 single one. Because that right now we're at 300 hit points. A medium titanium hull is a large increase. A medium shield is a large enough increase that a single medium slot would be justified. That is fine. But ditch this phaser shit. The plasma charges work. Okay? But canonically, and how it should work, and it can't be balanced with this in mind. I'm not saying, oh, yada yada yada, stick to canon. No. Bend and break canon where you need to make a balanced and fun game to play. A balanced, fun game to play should always take priority over almost anything. Okay? But this should be, the Romulans should start with I guess a disruptor cannon. A disruptor cannon and a burst disruptor. And it would read it would be I think disruptors in this game are flipped. So, phasers are shield damage and hull damage. Disruptors are plus 100% hull damage, minus 75% shield. I think. But you get the idea. It's like, oh, they're really good at armor, not the best for shield. And change this to not a small plasma charge, but a light plasma, a small plasma torpedo, which would be different from a plasma charge in that the torpedo would work more like phasers. They'd be plasma torpedoes. So that they get the energy weapons that are good against armor but not shields, the Romulans. And the Romulans get the missile weapons that are good against shields but not armor. Unlike the Federation, which gets the energy weapons that are good against shields, but the missile weapons that are good against them. Do you see what I'm going with there? And balance it that way. Start with, I guess, disruptor cannons and burst disruptors. And the cannons lead to, better and better versions of... None of this bouncing between cannons to ray to cannon to array to cannon. Just better versions of cannons. Like, I think that's what screwed... They called it a cannon. Don't call it a cannon. Call it a blaster. And the cannons come later. Call it a small disruptor... a disruptor blaster. And that leads, disruptor blaster to dual link blaster to blaster array to cannon to dual link cannon to cannon array to burst cannon. Do you see where I'm going? I think that's what they use the name cannon too soon. And they're like, no, it's not the way it should work. All right. For the phasers, start with, burst disruptors, into dual link burst disruptors, into disruptor arrays, into disruptor banks, dual link banks, bank array, whatever you have to do. But yeah, okay. And here's the thing: cannons, short range, rapid fire, low accuracy. And the idea being you're putting out 4 or 5 shots on a cannon / blaster compared to the single shot of the phaser or the disruptor beam. And let me call it a disruptor beam. Fuck it. Phaser beams, disruptor beams, right? Right? The difference between, let's say, the cannon / blasters are on a 5-second cooldown, but the accuracy is 75%. Much shorter range, slightly more damage. So it's more about just getting the shots out there. Alright? The beams, again, 10-second cooldown, accuracy 90. Right? And it's more about consistent damage. Slightly longer range. So put these, range 40 is great. Put these at range 60. 80, 100. 40, 60, 80. Perfect. Add 20 more range to these. Okay? Not as much damage, but more likely to hit. And then have a third weapon option. And I honestly don't know what to call it. I think that would be the burst. So you've got that's in between. Hey, thank you, Related Muck, for the raid. Pleasure to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. I'm trying dual streaming, so please be patient. Also, massive connection issues today for no apparent reason, so please be patient. And you caught me in the middle of a rant. Alright? Something in between that is not quite beams, not quite blasters, right? But, you know, more range than the cannon, not as, you know what I mean? Something like that. And then missile weapons and mines. You know, the mines can be universal, long cooldown. Maybe for the Federation, it's try Cobalt. For these guys, still plasmas. Something along those lines. Okay, good. Glad you're doing awesome. So this is the Romulans beginner ship. Cardassians. Yes. Because of the game. $30 on Steam. If you have Stellaris and all the DLC, maybe wait for this to go on sale, just download a mod. If you don't have Stellaris, or you want to play a game focused on Star Trek, it's worth the $30. They nailed the price point. It's not too expensive. It's not overpriced. It's not underpriced. It's about where it needs to be. The Cardassians. I always want to say Kardashians, but it's Cardassians. The Hideki. Cool, I recognize this. Ton of defenses. Neat. Again, I actually don't know what the Cardassians use for weapons. I know it's almost all beams. So again, get rid of the cannon. Give them burst phasers and burst disruptor beams, right? So they can use both phasers and disruptor beams. Boom! Maybe they don't get missile weapons. How cool would that be? Still have point defense, but no missile weapons. Still get mines, but no missile weapons. That would give them, not until the Dominion joins? I'm not sure how that's going to work. But not this. Why do they have the same technology as the Federation? So they need to go in and overhaul. Much like Stellaris has been doing the last few major patches. Go in with a hatchet and just like, you know what? Yank out all the cannons and blasters from the Cardassians. Give them only beam weapons. They can be bounced around that. That works just great for them. Right? And then the Klingons. The poor Klingons. Why do I say poor Klingons? Because their bird of prey gets nothing. First of all, only cannons. As far as I'm aware, that I can think, maybe the Vorcha and Negvar. But again, only disruptors. And personally, even then, I'm trying to think. Maybe the Negvar, which is their equivalent to the Sovereign class, that might have beam array. But as far as I can think of, at least from the episodes I've seen a lot of Star Trek episodes, Klingons only have cannon blaster type weapons. They get the pew-pews, not the beams. They get the pew-pews. So give them nothing but pew-pews. Cannons only. Specifically disruptor cannons. I don't, again, I think they do get proton torpedoes. Proton torpedoes is Star Wars. I think Klingons get photon torpedoes. Romulans get plasma torpedoes, and Cardassians and the Federation get photon and quantum torpedoes. So, to make it, I would argue, to make it interesting for the Klingons, they don't get quantum torpedoes, but they do get photon torpedoes and plasma torpedoes. That would be their interesting little note. Only disruptor cannons and blasters sort of thing. But they get access to many more missile-style weapons than the other factions. Also, this is bullshit. Because this has no armor, that means the only way the bird of prey can be balanced is it is either overpowered because it has to kill everything before it can die. Because if it doesn't, it will die so fast as to be useless. Those are the only two options. So we saw the Romulan. The Romulan should get a single medium defense slot, right? And 2 auxiliary slots for balance, starting ship. The bird of prey, this is fine. 2 small slots. Does that mean everyone will go shields and armor? I have no idea. But 2 small slots. No medium, because it is 2 slots. You could argue a single medium slot, but again, just to give it some flavor, some differences compared to the Romulans, I would argue 2 small slots. Okay? But yeah, they need to go in and overhaul that. They need to go in and overhaul the tech tree. Because again, plasma launcher. Yes, so plasma weapons are the inverse of phasers. Plasma weapons. Okay, that needs to be changed. Alright, I see what the problem is, though. Yeah, they need to go back in and redesign the technology depth. Because, again, and you missed this, Lady Monk, we have been playing this, I think this is I believe this will be episode 25, which means we've been playing this for, hold on, well, I can look it up, right? We have been playing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 6 days, so a little over a week. And unlike Stellaris, which has limits on what cards you can draw to research, this game has no limits. So in our Federation playthrough, which I'm going to load up now, we researched a number of Tier 1 and Tier 2 techs, and then all of a sudden, every choice
sending reinforcement
was a Tier 10 technology. And that should not happen. Let's take a real quick look at the ship design. Weapons. Yeah, plasma. Yeah, okay, so they got plasma. Alright. I think that's what's throwing me off. So they have this one disruptor thing. And then they have plasma. And that's what's throwing me off. In the show, there are disruptor beams and disruptor cannons, much like there are phaser beams and phaser cannons. Plasma is the Romulan equivalent of the Federation proton torpedo. Did it again, proton is Star Wars, photon torpedoes. So I would argue rename these. Or get rid of these, right? And rename them. Get rid of this to something else. So what the Romulans have, as opposed to photon torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, they have, I think, plasma, I think they just call them plasma missiles. Plasma torpedoes, and heavy plasma torpedoes. I believe. At least from what I can remember. I'm sure there are plenty of Star Trek nerds out there who will correct me in comments in the video, and feel free to. It is not a mod. It is a $30 standalone game. And that's the thing. And that's the problem. Is because it is so close. Like, It was again, I want to say the wrong studio for development. Nimble Giant Entertainment Development. Paradox published it. And what I think happened is Paradox went, here's the Stellaris engine. We will pay you to make a Star Trek game based off this. Using this. Because it uses the Stellaris engine. And it uses an older Stellaris engine. But like, unlike Stellaris, they added deuterium. They have their own unique things. Unlike Stellaris, they have mission trees. Like, I think it's Europa Universalis 4. And maybe Crusader Kings? That can change the way things work and that sort of thing. But again, much like they need to go in, right. So, like, there are enough differences in here to justify the $30 price tag. If you don't own Stellaris, like, if all you care, like, if you're a Star Trek nerd and you're hungry for the next Star Trek game, you're going to get this. I cannot stop you from buying this. That's fine. It stands on its own. It is a good. It is if it is a good Star Trek grand strategy game that is worth the $30. But it was announced in June of 2023 and released in October of 2023. I would like to think they worked on it for longer than 5 months. But it definitely needed more time in the oven. They need to go in, like I said, redo the tech trees. Sorry, tech decks. So they are more unique. The traditions work significantly differently and are balanced in a much different way. Okay? There's only 4, but this needs to be overhauled so that it is... if you own Stellaris... No. Because if you love Stellaris because of the way Stellaris is, and you own Stellaris, and you have all the DLC, like I do, get a mod. Because it's not going to cost you anything, and what's going to happen is you'll try the mod, you'll play it for a little while, and then you'll hop back into Stellaris. But if you don't own Stellaris, if you are Star Trek obsessed, if you're a grand strategy gamer, and you find, because Stellaris is so large at this point, this is actually a more focused thing. It's, again, only $30 American. But at the same time, like, I own Stellaris. If you are sick of Stellaris... So that's the other caveat. If you're not sick of Stellaris, get a mod, you're good to go. But if you don't own Stellaris, in order to get that Star Trek mod to work, you would need to buy Stellaris the game, that's $40. If you're lucky, you can get it on sale. You need to get 5, 6 DLC at this point, ranging from $10 to $20 per DLC. Not counting species packs, flavor packs, mission packs, that sort of thing. Just the required DLC to make that mod work. So now you're up to an $80 game. Just for a mod. In that case, get this. If you love Star Trek, and you want to play a Star Trek grand strategy game that is well done, this works for $30. I mean, the flip side of that is, what else are you going to play? But, even if you have Stellaris, you're like, you know what? I want a Star Trek grand strategy. There are plenty of people who played... I'm trying to think of the equivalent. Who bought Age of Empires 3. Right? Or was that a... Okay, hold on. Star Trek game similar... Age of Empires. Yes, there are plenty of people who bought Age of Empires and Star Trek, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. which was essentially a Star Wars game on the Age of Empires engine. Mind you, for full price, not $30, a full $60 game, and had fun with both. So, again, $30, yeah, but this needs to be overhauled so that it is unique, not necessarily the Ascension perks. There are 3 unique Ascension perks per faction. And then efficient consumption out for the taking. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are shared. But this section here needs to be unique. Not just so if you look, Lady Muck, in defense, this one right here has a little Federation symbol. So what that little symbol means is that if the Klingons have this option in their tradition tree, but they do not have Si Vis Pacem in their defense tree. They have something else here. But it should be overhauled so that we get defense and offense, and it is clearly unique to us. The Klingon should get hit and run, or I don't know how to word this, but something that's more like personal honor working as a team, right? We should get research and development that works for us. Klingon should get well, I guess you don't call it research and development, but maybe tech for us, or external, internal, and for the Klingons it should be interior, exterior. You know what I mean? Like focused around developing in our empire, focused around working with others. Commerce and welfare, change it to for the Federation. Cooperation and something else for the Romulans, subterfuge and so. You know what I mean? Just personalize it more. As far as the mission trees go, I like this. This works, right? But make it go further with it. Don't make it just pop out like this. Much like if I click. Hold on. Alright, never mind. Like, we can scroll this way up and down. Give us one scroll left and right. And go ham with it. So as the Federation, as far as I can tell, I can't go on the offense against other empires. Like, I can't say I claim this system and then try to take it. They have to attack me. But change this so, as opposed to, you've got first contact, that's fine. Slide this over even farther. But at first contact, give us another step in here. Okay? So between first contact into here is another branch. And it's either peaceful cooperation with other species, or mutually exclusive, go to war. And if I choose go to war, much like any other empire, I can sit there and go like, no, I want this and this, I'm claiming this. But I can't claim these. There's no claim button. There's, like, if I do this, if I declare war on the Cardassians, which I can do.
Our union greets you.
But we're at truce, because there's an enforced truce for the next year. Right? And I think in order for me to claim any territory, and like there's this galactic tension, which is interesting. The more likely war is to happen. Major to minor powers, minor power annexation, minor power subjugation. Okay. Right. Like, if I can get it to 31%, I guess I can make 2 additional claims. So maybe that's what I have to do, is try to go for war. And that's just picking fights with people. At this point, not a problem. But the only war I can do is humiliate. So I'm wondering...
Our people bow to you.
I can intervene in war. I can't declare war. Now that's you.
Which side do you stand with? Kess or Prit? Answer
intervene
carefully.
In war. Yeah, as the Federation, I can only pick fights with major empires. But there's a 10-year cooldown. And it is so easy to reduce galactic tension that we would start the war, it would give us plus 7%. We'd win the war, and because the war ended, it would immediately lose all our galactic tension. So yes, they need to go in and overhaul these mission trees so that it is more of, am I playing this as a peaceful playthrough today? Great, nothing changes. Or if I choose the Federation, maybe I choose warmongering, and now I can make claims and that sort of thing. And start wars, and give a series of missions about taking over this and turning into the mirror universe version of the Federation. And they need to go in for each empire and not just give us, all right, this is how you expect to play, but give us a mission tree that is mutually exclusive, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here's a huge alternate take on this, on the Klingon Empire, the Cardassian, Cardassian, that sort of thing. Because we physically cannot go to war. I mean, maybe we can piss these guys, all 3 of these guys off enough. That they attack us, and then we can declare. So I think we're going to go into here, into our envoys, harming. Accept. So now we've got 2 free. Harm relations. Make them pissed at us. Harm relations. So that they want to attack us. I don't know if this is going to work. All of that to ideally claim these, because I didn't read ahead and realize those 2 systems were required for the mission trees. And the problem with the mission trees is it's going to take some fine-tuning, because you don't want the rewards to be game-breaking, but at the same time, you want the rewards to be worthwhile and go for, sort of thing. And the problem is, right now, like, we grabbed the Defiant, and it was a lot of work to get to it, because we can make more. And it honestly feels like this is fun. Maybe 2 S's and a medium would be better, but it needs a couple, at least 2 more weapon slots. 2 mediums and 2 smalls. for the fact that we have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 missions to unlock the ability to build a Defiant. And we got something that barely qualifies as being above the Miranda. Barely. Okay? In addition to all of that, boy, this rant's going on for a solid. This is literally just going to turn into its own little video playthrough. I'm going to unpause and just let time tick at speed 1. Okay, so we are trying to make our way in this direction. So that once these guys are integrated, we can connect, and we're going to be on this side of the galaxy. We are looking at settling a planet here, a size 21 here, and a size 8. Well, we ignore the size 8, but the size 12 maybe. Are you building? Yeah, okay, so you must be building. I think the next one we grab is Farah and do Matreth. And that will get us here, and then we need to grab this one, and this one. And head in this, you know, in this general direction. Here, and you know what I mean? Just grab this side. Alright, we're letting time take. There was something else I wanted to rant about. Oh, the other issue is time-wise. The game covers 50 years show-wise, just before Star Trek The Next Generation to just after Star Trek Voyager. But like I said, it started in 2346, and we're 100 years in. I don't know if that's halfway, or that's the full game, or whatever, but the pacing feels weird. That needs to be smoothed out. I totally forgot what I was going to rant about.
We have surveyed a new star system.
There was something else I was going to rant about. I did mission trees, I did shits, I did tech tree, balance, the governor system, I understand why they did it. So unlike Stellaris, go explore. You get governor ships, and those governor ships perform right-click. Oh, I can only enter orbit. Yeah, so sometimes I can do missions. I bet you Adra. And sometimes I can't. Like re-educate, give her production boost, give a production boost, reduce crime, immigration boost maybe was the other one? I don't know. And then other times I just can't do anything, which is a bit weird. But spy ships. So you actually get spy ships, and they fly into an empire, we'll say. And then they perform missions.
Nukner.
But it's... I appreciate the attempt at trying something different. It feels too unwieldy for the spy ships. I'd much rather the Stellaris system, at least for spies. Governor ships, I guess, work fine. But the spy ships, it's just busy work to make busy work. Go back to the Stellaris way.
Research model.
Size 16. Oh, what's this? We have discovered the pirate space of operations. Our scans show their readout was a formal starbase in the SACDEP system?
Construction finished on schedule.
Hold on, stop. This fleet consists mostly of our own stolen vessels. Though some appear to be rebuilt enemy ships, now held together by scrap and spare parts. Attempt to make contact. I don't know where that system is. Q. There we go. Shit. Alright, attempt to make contact. That is severely outside. So this little blue bubble is where outside of science ships and spy ships, this is where our ships are limited to for travel. Unless we're at war with someone. The pirates' de facto leader, Tussless, has agreed to negotiate. Clear a ceasefire. We lose a ton of deuterium. And they become neutral. Or we gain 50 influence. You know what? Let's declare a ceasefire. They're now neutral. Now we don't have to worry about them. Great. Alright, and we got new
technology
tech.
has passed testing protocols.
Subspace DOS flutter. No. Admiral level cap. You know what? We do need more admirals. So let's grab that one. Lone Teth is a defense station. So for now, long range sessions. And then there's this. Versatile. I don't understand what the difference between these two are. And there should be a difference. Also, there are... If you remember Lady Muck at the beginning of Stellaris, you would have massive swings and balances occasionally. This has that problem. Where you'll be chugging along, and then all of a sudden... Like, you'll be up 100, and then all of a sudden, because they're shuffling things around or something, you drop to negative 80 for energy, sort of thing. So they need to go in and reduce that. Dear Lord, I am making so much food now. Oh, sorry. I feel comfortable selling another 200. So we're actually fine on food. And it looks like our military fleets have another upgrade. Don't know what that is, but we'll go ahead and upgrade them. Just to keep them topped off. Okay. We'll go ahead and speed things up.
Starfleet vessels improved.
So we don't need food. If we're selling 400 food, we're fine on food. So you don't have a designation. Do you have any unique features? Tachyon and special districts. I don't know what a special district is. These all count as basic. Index, amenities, stability. No idea. Oh! Permanently increases max distance. Interesting. If you have influence is very hard to come by in this game. We've been at or around 1 influence income for almost the entire game. But we can permanently increase. I don't know how many times we can do that. I almost want to cheat just to see how many times I can do that. So there is a way to, at least once, so 10 becomes 12, 16 becomes 18, so on and so forth. You are an energy world. The reason being because of the features. You don't have... But I think we did food. And trip. So we have one more upgrade for Trill. So when this up... Wow, we're out of job. Wow! So that's the other thing. I don't know if we're just not getting it. What do I want to give up? Are we selling deuterium? We're not selling deuterium. So we kind of need a replicator. Heritage site. Alright, let's replace one of these energies with a city district to give us more housing. The balance of how much housing, because we have not found... Yeah. Because we have not found any technology to increase the amount of housing in a city district, which, if it's not in the game, does need to be added. We are running into that. We are running into an issue now. Like amenities, it is impossible to have, at least as the Federation, to have crime. We have no dedicated. We have nothing dedicated to making amenities, and this one planet is producing 102 amenities. It's insane. So we'll do that. So we have 14 jobs, but no housing. So we're going to need housing.
Starfleet vessels improved. Starfleet vessels improved.
Already at full fleet manager.
Research modeled.
Huh. Wait a minute. Why? Okay, why upgrade? I'm not sure why Beta Z fleet is down here and not up here where they're supposed to be. But it looks like we have two galaxy classes that are not showing up. So, and again, balance patches and that sort of thing. So yeah, we've run into this thing. It's like, all right, there they are. Okay, they weren't. So maybe they were just
New
built.
technology has passed testing protocols.
Upkeep from job. Well, hold on, let's see. I don't care about the observatory. I don't care about the siege phaser. We're not mining any of these. So yeah, let's grab the super transporters. Self-repairing. Minefield. Minerals from mining station. I think self-repairing mechanisms. I mean, this would be nice.
We have surveyed a new star system.
But anything that allows us to put more ships.
We have surveyed a new star system. Research modeled.
Great, we can get another admiral. But see, we're getting an 8,000. Even though... Another governor leader? And nothing else really jumping out at me. Let's get this out of the deck.
We have surveyed
All of a sudden, our deuterium's at -9. Now, I don't know why. Could be jobs. These guys will shuffle around. Admin. Foundry. What's admin hall? Right. Maybe in Jordan. Let's go ahead. Yeah, so that's the other weird thing. So you'd think the upgrade to the replicator would give us more deuterium, food, amenities, and trade. No. It increases the number of... gives +1 job to research, cultural admin, medical, and entertainment buildings. Okay. Upgrade both of those. We have 2. I think these make deuterium. Yes. We'll go ahead and slide those in there. Hello, this is Gohan the Chichilla, and we hope you're having a good day, as do I. As always, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to follow, like, subscribe, or comment. Or, even better, come on over to twitch.tv/SparkyTDK and watch me live every Monday through Friday. Thank you for your support.